Hello, Homeworks members, and welcome to your 2023 district meeting. I'm Angel McCliggett, and I'm the Employee and Member Engagement Manager at Homeworks. I'm here to serve as your moderator for tonight's virtual event. Before we begin, let's quickly cover our meeting protocol so you know how to participate this evening. You can interact with us during tonight's meeting by using the simple buttons that pop up on your Zoom webinar screen. The first button is Raise Hand. You'll use this button anytime you'd like to make a motion or second a motion tonight. Next up is the chat button. You can type in the chat box if you'd like to make a comment, nominate yourself or another member for a position, or bring up any matters of business this evening. The Q&A button is to be used if you have a question that you'd like to pose to our CEO. Clicking on this button will bring up a box that allows you to type your question, which we will pass on to Mr. O'Neill for the Q&A session at the end of tonight's event. Our communications manager will be monitoring your comments and questions throughout the meeting, and we will be sure to follow up with you afterwards if any of your questions are unable to be answered during the live event. Back to voting. Anytime a motion has been made and seconded this evening, your voting options will pop up directly on your screen for you. Simply click on the button representing the way you would like to vote, and as the votes come in, the polling numbers will show up right there on the screen, so everyone can see the results in real time. Moving on, do you have your bingo card ready for tonight? We hope you'll join in the fun during the meeting by listening for keywords and topics and checking off any that you hear us discuss tonight. If you get a vertical, horizontal, or diagonal bingo, write the account holder's name and homework service address on the card and return it to us via mail or email by May 29th. Everyone who turns in a winning bingo card will be placed in a raffle for one of our 3 exciting grand prizes. I also want to remind you that if you'd like, you can follow along with some of the topics we discussed this evening in your digital district meeting booklet, which you should have received by email this afternoon. This helpful booklet can also be accessed at homeworks.org/D3booklet. And finally, as always, be sure to stay logged on until the end of this meeting so you don't miss out on the prize drawings that you were automatically entered in just by attending tonight. We have a lot of great items that we're excited to give away, but you must be present to win, so stay with us. All right, now that you've got the basics down, it's time to get started. Here to officially kick off tonight's meeting is your District 3 Director and Board Chairman, Luke Pohl.
I'm Luke Pohl, and I'm honored that you have entrusted me to represent our district on the Homeworks Tri-County Electric Board of Directors since 2014. Helping to guide the direction of your great cooperative as your board chairman is a responsibility that I take very seriously, and I am so happy to be here with you tonight to update you on the exciting things that have been taking place at Homeworks over the past year. Homeworks has been hosting these district meetings for decades, and it's such an effective way to stay engaged with the co-op we all own. One of the many things that set cooperatives apart from other utilities is that every member has a voice and a vote. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to participate in the democratic process of your cooperative. Did you know our district includes nearly 1,800 members residing or receiving service in Clinton County? My wife Janet and I are proud to have been Homeworks members in Westphalia for 42 years. Homeworks sure has come a long way in those 42 years. And the co-op has come even farther in the 86 years since it was founded by farmers in Eaton, Ingham, and Jackson counties to bring electricity to their unserved rural areas. As you know, we are repeating that history today by bringing reliable, high-speed fiber internet to rural areas of mid-Michigan that other providers have often refused to serve. CEO Chris O'Neill will tell you all about that and several other exciting co-op projects a bit later. But first, we have some co-op business to conduct tonight in addition to electing your board representatives every 3 years, as you'll do next year. You also elect district officers each May. They include our district chair, Mary Jo Straub from St. John's, who will conduct our brief business meeting in just a few minutes. Our district vice chair is Claire Kenishnick from Fowler, and our secretary is Teresa Thalen from Westphalia. Thank you, Mary Jo, Claire, and Teresa, for your service to our district. Again, I am thrilled to be with you here tonight. I've said it before, but having informed member owners really does make HomeWorks a stronger cooperative. I want to close by thanking you again for allowing me the honor of serving as your district director. Now, please welcome our CEO, Chris O'Neill.
Thank you, Chairman Pohl. District 3 members, welcome to your 2023 live-streamed virtual district meeting. I'm Chris O'Neill. Many of you know me as I've served in several different capacities on the HomeWorks team for over 20 years. I took over as your CEO in 2020, and I want to echo Director Pohl in saying that it is my great privilege and honor to serve you. I'm so happy to have you here with us tonight. The democratic process is one of the founding principles that sets co-ops apart from other types of utilities, and HomeWorks depends on members like you who are willing to be involved and informed. Plus, I'm very excited to update you on the things that have been happening at HomeWorks over the past year. I think you're really going to enjoy the informative co-op update that we put together for tonight's meeting. We'll hit several timely topics after our brief business meeting. First, though, I want to quickly highlight another thing that really sets co-ops apart, which is our concern for community or community outreach. We try to do all that we can to make a positive impact for the people who live within our service footprint, especially those people who are in need. One of the most important ways we try to fulfill that goal here at HomeWorks is through our Tri-County People Fund. Our People Fund has granted over $2.6 million to families and organizations throughout our service territory since 1993. Recent People Fund contributions supporting our neighbors in need in this area include a $1,095 grant to a Clinton County family to help with necessary housing repairs. Our People Fund is made possible by those of you who voluntarily round up your monthly electric bill to the nearest dollar as part of our Operation Roundup, and we want to sincerely thank you. Our People Fund board of 7 volunteers, one from each one of our districts, works very hard to make sure each grant request is considered with care. Here in District 3, your People Fund director is Peg Brown. We certainly thank Peg and her fellow board members for all the time and compassion they put into this worthy cause. In addition to the People Fund, we have a couple other community programs that help make a big difference locally as well. This year, we made a Touchstone Energy classroom technology grants to several local classrooms to support innovative projects to help students learn. We also awarded a $1,000 Touchstone Energy College Scholarship to 12 very deserving high school students whose households are served by our electric lines to help them further their education. We love any opportunity to support our local students and teachers. Recently, with the help of a matching grant program offered by one of our lenders, CoBank, we were able to donate $10,000 apiece to the LC Baby Pantry and I Am Kids Third Meal in Fenwick to help them make a big impact for children and families in our service area. We try to support local families and organizations as often as we can because as a co-op, we're committed to enhancing the quality of life in the communities that we serve. There's a reason for that. We don't answer to some faraway investors or that have and all of our directors and employees live right here in your neighborhoods. In fact, myself and many of our employees are members. Like you, we're truly invested in rural mid-Michigan. You might remember that last year we told you about a new employee volunteer program we started to give our employees the opportunity to engage with their communities and to make a difference for their neighbors. True to form, our employees have embraced that program and helped it grow exponentially in the past year. We thought you might be interested in seeing a glimpse of how they're making a difference throughout our service area, so we put together a quick video highlighting some of our volunteers.
Our community outreach program was implemented as a way for our HomeWorks employees to engage within our local communities through volunteer work.
The program is important for the company to implement because it does recognize the individual employees for the time that they give to their communities. It also lets the communities know what we're doing for them. As a cooperative and member-owned, that's important for them to understand what our role is here.
So I volunteer within the Homeworks blood drives. I've also went to the Portland Middle School and taught them a little bit about Homeworks and what we do and how they can get involved within our cooperative. I've also been to a couple career fairs doing the same.
Yeah, I grew up in Portland, went through the volleyball program all through high school, and I saw people helping out when I was a player, so I thought maybe when I get older, I'll do that too.
We also were able to donate to St. Jude's over $5,000, and to be able to write that check to them and send that to them, it meant a lot.
So many individuals or organizations need help. You see the need and you see how appreciative they are of you helping, and it can't help but make you feel good.
So part of the cooperative principles is concern and care for community. And we recognized that we had a whole slew of employees that were out volunteering, giving their time, money, whatever they could in their local communities. So we thought it was time for us to start recognizing it.
Each month, our employees submit a Google form with how many volunteer hours that they have done that month. And then with our Touchstone Energy funds, we have purchased little rewards. So for example, when they reach 5 hours, they get a little koozie cup as an incentive, as a thank you for volunteering within our community.
Homeworks is such a great organization that is so diverse in helping people, individuals, schools, nonprofits. They make it so easy for us to do that. It makes you feel good about working for Homeworks Tri-County.
The Homeworks board, staff, and you, our members, truly do care for the communities we serve, and I think that comes through in everything that we do. Thank you for embodying the cooperative spirit and helping us to make a difference year in and year out. Another way we embrace the cooperative spirit is through our legislative advocacy on your behalf. We've hosted several of our Michigan State senators and representatives at our facilities over the past year, and I've visited with many others in Lansing to foster relationships and advocate for rural co-op members. Advocacy regarding issues affecting rural America and our local communities, including broadband access, electric reliability, power supply, easements, and more, is an important aspect of being an electric co-op. And you can be sure that we will always maintain our commitment to using our voice to speak for you. All right, just one more quick update before we start your business meeting. We've told you that you have told us overwhelmingly that you prefer the virtual format for district meetings, and we're happy to oblige that with these webinars. We still want to have an opportunity, though, to engage you in person. So we've developed a new event called Homeworks Park Parties, which will kick off this summer. This will be a fun and informal open house style event where you can drop by with the family, enjoy some ice cream on us, and talk to our staff directly about any co-op questions you may have. Your park party will take place the afternoon of August 2nd at the Eagle Park. We'll send you an invitation with more details in the mail as the event nears. We hope you'll be able to join us. Your annual meeting will also be back in person this year, taking place Saturday, August 19th at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant. If you've opted to serve as an annual meeting delegate when you registered for this meeting, you will receive more information on that in the mail in the coming months as the meeting date gets closer. All right, I'll be back with a brief pre-recorded operations update for you in a few minutes. First, you need to conduct your annual business meeting. Your district chair, Mary Jo Straub, will come up to conduct this portion of tonight's proceedings. Good evening, Mary Jo.
Good evening. Thank you, Chris. I'm Mary Jo Straub, and I have served as your district chair for the past several years. Homeworks Executive Assistant Michelle Hune has informed me that we do have a quorum with 97 member households in attendance. Thank you for taking the time to log on. Let's start our business meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now we'll have our secretary, Teresa Thalen, take care of our next agenda item.
Thank you, Mary Jo. The notice of meeting, proof of mailing, and 2022 minutes are on pages 4 and 5 of your district meeting booklet. I'm going to make a motion that we dispense with the reading of these and accept them as presented. Mary Jo?
Thank you, Teresa. Can I get a second? Our moderator tells me that we have a motion and a second to accept the notice of the meeting, the proof of mailing, and the minutes from our last meeting as presented. Please vote on this motion using the polling on your screen now. Thank you. Motion carried. When you registered to attend this meeting, you were asked if you wanted to be invited as a delegate to the HomeWorks annual meeting in August. Those of us who signed up to serve as 2023 annual meeting delegates are listed on page 7 of your district meeting booklet. I move that we dispense with the reading of the delegates and accept the list as presented. Motion passed. Can I get a second? Yes, motion passed. We have a second. It has been moved and seconded to approve the delegates as presented. Please vote now using the functions on your screen. Motion carried. If there is anyone here tonight who is not already on the list but is interested in being invited as a delegate to the annual meeting this year, please contact HomeWorks Executive Assistant Michelle Hune at the email address or phone number on the screen now. Mr. O'Neill, please come forward for the election of the district officers.
Thank you, Mary Jo. First, let me remind you what your volunteer district officers do for your cooperative. The chair runs the annual membership meeting, as Mary Jo is doing here tonight. The vice chair steps in if the chair is not available. The secretary reads the notice of mailing and calls for approval of the minutes from the previous year's meeting, as Teresa did this evening. Every 3 years, the officers also serve as the nominating committee when your district's board seat comes up for election. That will be their job next year. Your district chair is Mary Jo Straub. Mary Jo has indicated she is willing to serve another term, if elected. Is there a motion to nominate Mary Jo? We have a motion. Is there a second? We do have a second. It has been moved and seconded to nominate Mary Jo Straub. During the registration process tonight, Russell Dyes of Eagle also expressed his interest in running for the chair position. Is there a motion to nominate Russell? We have a motion. Do we have a second? There is a motion and a second to nominate Russell Dyes. Are there any other nominations from the floor for the chair position? If not, let's put it to vote for your chair position. Please use the polling on your screen now. Thank you. Mary Jo has been elected as your chairperson, and thank you to all the candidates. Your district vice chair is Claire Kenishnick. Claire has let us know he is willing to serve another year in this position. Is there a motion to nominate Claire? We have a motion. Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded to nominate Claire Kenishnick. During the registration process, Russell Dyes of Eagle and Leroy Schaefer of Westphalia both expressed interest in running for this position. Is there a motion to nominate each one of these individuals? There is a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to nominate Russell and Leroy. Please go ahead and, do we need to take a vote on that, Charlie? Are there any other nominations from the floor?
Yes. Joshua Goodrich.
It looks like Joshua Goodrich. There's a motion to nominate Joshua Goodrich also for the vice chair position. Do we have a second? It has been moved and seconded to nominate Joshua Goodrich for the position of vice chair. Let's go ahead and put this to a vote. Please use the polling on your screen now. Okay, congratulations. Claire Kenishnick has been reelected as district vice chair. We're going to move on to the secretary position. Your district secretary is Teresa Thalen of Westphalia. Teresa has indicated she would agree to serve as district secretary again. Is there a motion to nominate Teresa Thalen? We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to nominate Teresa Thalen. Russell Dyes of Eagle has also expressed interest in running for secretary. Is there a motion to nominate Russell? We have a motion. Is there a second? Okay. It has been moved and seconded. Are there any other nominations from the floor? If so, please type them into the chat box now. Okay. If not, let's go ahead and vote for the secretary position. Please use the polling on your screen now. Thank you. Teresa Thalen has been elected as your secretary. Congratulations to all of our officers. Now I will turn it back over to Mary Jo.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Is there any other business to come before this district? If not, I will accept a motion to adjourn. I have a motion. And a second. So we will be adjourned. Okay, now we will turn it back to Angel.
Thank you, Mary Jo. And thank you to all of our district officers and all members who voted in the business meeting tonight. Now we'll move on to the co-op update portion of our meeting. CEO Chris O'Neill has pre-recorded an informative update for you, and at the conclusion of the briefing, Chris will be back up here live in person to answer your questions. Remember to use the Q&A box at any time to enter any questions that you would like to pose to Chris. Now sit back and enjoy Chris's co-op update.
Hello, Homeworks members. You just finished up your business meeting, which is one of the main reasons we ask you to attend your district meetings each year. You're not just a customer of Homeworks Tri-County Electric, you're a member and an owner of the co-op. So it's crucial that you have the opportunity to participate and engage in the democratic process. Another important reason we invite you to your district meetings is to provide you with a look behind the scenes at your co-op's operations and the projects we've undertaken on your behalf over the past year. There's a lot to touch on here, so let's get started. First off, you probably noticed that I'm coming to you today from the truck garage in our Portland office. I'm out here because this is one of the areas that represents the heart of what we do, which is to hit the road running every day to provide you with reliable services that enhance your quality of life. Between our two offices in Portland and Blanchard, we have 106 employees, and I can tell you with no hesitation that every one of them is committed to going above and beyond the call of duty to serve you. Did you know that the electric operations employees who drive these trucks out of this garage every day helped provide you with power that is 99.95% reliable last year? As a member-owner co-op, that doesn't have to answer to investors or meet any arbitrary profit margins. We're able to invest in the type of regular system maintenance and upgrades that prevent outages before they happen. And when storms come in and outages do occur, these trucks hit the road immediately, and our employees work to restore your power safely, quickly, and efficiently. In fact, we recently received our 2023 Michigan Public Service Commission Standards Report, which measures our performance in areas like how quickly we restore your outages, answer your calls, and more. While large electric utilities in our state regularly struggle to meet these standards set forth by the MPSC, I'm proud to say that our 2023 report shows that we far exceeded those standards in every single category measured. So, if you've noticed sometimes that your lights are on when your neighbors who are serviced by other electric providers still might be in the dark, there's a reason for that reliability. It's the investment we've made in our system and the hard work of our skilled employees who are dedicated to providing you with power you can rely on. Now, it's no surprise that the cost of providing you with electric reliability continues to steadily increase. As a not-for-profit co-op, our electric rates are based solely on the cost of providing you service and nothing more. Unfortunately, the cost of day-to-day operations to run your co-op and the pricing for the equipment, materials, and contractors needed to maintain our electric system have risen exponentially over the past couple years. Because of those increased costs, along with sustained volatility in the power supply market, it is likely that we will be asking our Board of Directors to consider a rate increase at our July board meeting, which, if approved, would take effect in October of this year. Of course, we will inform you of the details of any rate adjustments before it hits your bill, and I assure you that we will work to keep any increase as minimal as possible to adequately cover our cost and support the financial stability of the co-op we all own. My goal as your CEO is to always be transparent with you, so I wanted to let you know what is likely on the horizon. We've provided a detailed financial report on pages 8 and 9 and 12 and 13 of your district meeting booklet, where you'll see that the co-op continues to experience very slow growth with a net of 248 new active meters in 2022. 2022 energy sales were also up very slightly, with a 1% in kilowatt-hour sales over 2021. You're probably aware that part of being a co-op member means that anytime we have operating margins, that money gets allocated back to you, the members, as capital credits based on your share of electricity purchases during the year. That allocation of margins helps to make up the equity in the co-op. You can see your specific allocation amount noted on your May electric bill. So far, we have returned over $24 million in member equity to you and your neighbors. In March, your board voted to delay the consideration of capital credit retirements until the fourth quarter of this year, when they will review the financial status of the co-op and determine if a retirement is viable at that time. As always, we will keep you updated on the status of any capital credit retirement through our Country Lines magazine and direct mail communications. I mentioned earlier the volatility of the power supply market as a factor in your energy costs. Recently, I sat down with Zach Anderson, Chief Operating Officer of our power supplier, Wolverine Power Cooperative, to talk about the reasons behind that volatility, along with several other very important issues affecting power supply and the electric grid reliability. I want to share our conversation with you now. I think you'll find it very informative. Hi, Zach. Thanks for sitting down with me today and being willing to discuss the important issue of power supply. It's an issue that I've spoke with many members on, and they have a lot of concerns about power supply and the state of the current grid. So let's get right to it. Zach, Electric reliability is a hot button issue currently, and Wolverine does an incredible job on behalf of Homeworks and all of its members in securing enough electric supply during peak demand for our members. With that being said, can you please explain to our members how we could still be facing electricity shortages and talking about rolling blackouts while we're talking about having enough supply?
Yeah, it's such a fantastic question, and it's an important issue for our members to understand what's going on out there. And so, to be very clear, Wolverine, on behalf of our members as the generation and transmission co-op that supplies you your power supply, we are an exporter. All seasons, spring, fall, winter, summer, we have enough generation, and in fact a little bit more, meaning we export when demand is highest. The blessing and the curse of the grid, though, is we're all in this big pool together. And so if others, as is increasingly the case, do not have enough generation to meet their maximum demand, we all end up having to sacrifice. And the most painful bit of that sacrifice is literally being forced to have the lights go out with what are known as rolling blackouts. The way that we talk about it, and I think is easiest for people to visualize what's going on, is we're being forced to play a really dangerous game of Jenga. And when I say that, I don't mean to say we're playing a game. This is real life and economic risk. So that's why it's a dangerous game of Jenga. But if you think about it and visualize it this way, if you have a solid Jenga tower at the start of the game and all the blocks are in place, that's really, really strong. And that's where our grid has been for its 100+ years in its history. But now we're being systematically forced to go through a transition that has us pulling out key components of those Jenga blocks, and the tower is becoming less and less stable. So as we retire more and more generation and we can't replace it fast enough, and we're not replacing it with the same resources, meaning weather dependent and intermittent resources like renewables, those are trying to come on too quickly as we pull out those Jenga blocks, and we risk that tower becoming more and more unstable. And unfortunately, that has very serious consequences for all of us.
Absolutely. That provides some wonderful clarity, Zach. For our members who are concerned, can you tell them what the process would be if MISO said that we needed to institute rolling blackouts in order to save the grid?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is something that we have to plan for. On the plus side is we do have a plan. And so if we are asked to shed load, everyone's being asked to shed load. They don't pick on just rural cooperatives. It's everybody needs to do their fair share to cut back. And so from a practical standpoint, it's a phone call that comes to our Energy Control Center at Wolverine, and then we implement our plan, and we don't know how long it will last, but what we try to do is spread that pain around for the shortest amount of time possible so that one member or one substation in our world isn't bearing the brunt of that pain and that penalty in that situation.
And that's where the term rolling blackouts comes
You're
from.
rolling them around.
Absolutely. Let's transition to another but similar related topic here. Our members at Homeworks hear a lot about our electric reliability and our investment in electric reliability. We provide them with power that is 99.95% reliable, which I think is outstanding. Can you break down for our members how we can be talking about one kind of superior reliability on one hand, but then warning them about the electric grid and other issues on the other? Can you delineate that for us?
Yeah. And I think of it in three key buckets. So you touched on this, Chris. Homeworks and Wolverine have been doing a lot of investment in our systems. So those are the power lines and the substations that serve our members. And so that's one bit of reliability, system reliability. Sure. And that's really strong, almost 100% reliable. Yeah. The next bit of reliability is generation reliability. This is another area where I'm proud to say that Wolverine is a leader in the region in how reliable the power plants that we own and operate on our members' behalf perform under all scenarios. We are far and away better than anyone else at operating our power plants, and that pays off that when they're needed, they will run to support our members, and that's key. So system reliability, generation reliability are the first two. The third is, as we've been talking about, is grid reliability. So we can do what we need to do on our system, we can do what we need to do from a generation standpoint, but then we have to recognize that we're all connected, and that grid reliability is where the challenge lies, and that's outside of our control. So the thing that we're really focused on is communicating on this message and being practical, that we want to be leaders in renewables. We want to be leaders in providing affordable power supply, but in doing that, everyone else has to be pulling in the same direction so that we provide highly reliable power from a grid reliability standpoint. So you've got system reliability, generation reliability, and then grid reliability, where we're all in it together. And we need to be an advocate for good grid policy.
Very good. Thank you for that. That was a very detailed explanation on a fairly complex issue, so I appreciate that. Next question here, Zach. Wolverine is a state leader in renewable power, and yet, as we've been talking about, we know we need to advocate for a responsible energy transition to renewables, sort of balancing both cost and reliability metrics along the way. What do you see as the role for renewables being now, and maybe what the role changes to in the future?
Yeah, so as leaders in renewables, we were the first utility in the state to have a commercial scale wind farm. Co-ops were amongst the first to have community solar programs. We have been leaders in renewables and receive almost 20% of our total energy needs are met by renewables today. And we have an additional 40% of our portfolio that is carbon free. So 60% of the energy supply that we get today is carbon free. And we believe in it, and our members believe in it, and they support it, even if it costs a little bit more. It's been something that we're proud to be leaders in, and we'll continue to lead into the future in adding more and more renewables to our long-term power supply mix. But we have to also recognize we need to do that while being responsible and keeping the lights on 24/7, 365. Because if we don't, it has real economic, and unfortunately, it can be life-threatening for cold weather events like we have in Michigan. It can be so cold that it can be deadly for people. And so we take these things very seriously, thinking long-term to be as decarbonized as possible while keeping the lights on 24/7, 365.
And that's an incredible balance that you do strike. And so, Zach, thank you for sitting down with us today. You provided some great information to our members on power supply, an issue that I know really resonates with them, especially currently when costs are going up. And there's a lot in the news about power supply and potential rolling blackouts. So one thing I will say is we definitely appreciate everything that Wolverine does on behalf of our members, especially to provide them with safe, reliable, and affordable power supply. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
There are a lot of complex issues there, and I appreciate Zach sitting with me to break them down for you from a power supply perspective. One thing Zach mentioned quite a bit was carbon-free and renewable energy. You might not know that we offer a great renewable energy program for our members with 3 different levels of participation. We also offer a robust energy optimization program to help you save money by integrating beneficial electrification and energy efficiency measures at your home. Last year, the program helped our members to save over $107,000 and over 832,000 kilowatt hours. I encourage you to take a minute to check out our EO page at homeworks.org/EO to learn more about our rebates and incentives. Next up, let's move into some very exciting news on our Homeworks Connect fiber internet project. I'm thrilled to report that just this month, we've completed our fiber network build-out to our entire membership. That's over 2,100 miles of fiber line built over the past 5 years as part of this $94 million investment in delivering reliable, high-speed internet across our rural mid-Michigan footprint. You might remember that it was May of 2018 when we officially undertook this project and made the commitment to our board to complete our mainline construction within 5 years. I could not be more proud of the fact that despite the unprecedented challenges of the pandemic and other obstacles along the way, we have met that commitment. We are still finishing up our fiber splicing in parts of our northern service territory, so our fiber service is not available to every single member home just yet. But we are very close to reaching everyone. To celebrate this momentous completion of our network construction and everything this project means for our cooperative, our members, and the communities we serve, we put together a quick video on the project that I think you'll enjoy.
Everybody here has been affected by this fiber build, and the difference between this and all the other business ventures I've been involved in is it actually involved the entire organization. For bringing broadband out into the rural areas, it brings that same passion back to the organization. You see people being re-energized because we're doing something that's everybody wants.
We first talked about it at the district meetings, and the membership was in favor of us going out and borrowing the money and doing the broadband business. At that point there, we had taken information from the senior management that had done the investigations on what it would take and how much money we would have to borrow and what type of timeline we would have. And that's where it started just about 5 years ago.
Who would have thought that in 2018, when we started this, considering a 5-year journey to build out fiber to all of our customers, that we would have COVID. We still managed to catch back up again, and we're actually going to finish the project, well, by the way I look at it, about 4 months early.
Those were quite trying times, but we just kept persevering. Everybody on the staff, everybody in the building, all of our employees and stuff just have worked their butt off to get this thing done. We all know as board members who did the work, and that was the employees here at HomeWorks.
I feel really proud to be a part of the fiber team because it is such an exciting, seemingly life-changing service that we offer. So it is great to know that I'm a part of something bigger than myself.
People don't realize how much of business takes place over the internet today, how important it is for business to have a high-speed internet.
You know what, as a business owner, having fiber internet, it takes away a lot of the uncertainty. We would have a lot of problems losing our phones. We would have a lot of problem losing credit card authorizations. When you have unreliable internet, it affects everything from day-to-day operations.
The members are very appreciative of the service. Many of them say it's the best service that they've ever had. Super easy to get in contact with someone at the office, where a lot of other companies, you get someone from a different country, like we're in your backyard.
I work for companies that are all around the world. You know, these are software companies that have offices everywhere. When I am in a Teams meeting or something online, they always ask me about my internet because it just never drops. It just seems so crisp. And I said, you know what? I live in the middle of nowhere and I have the fastest internet in any place in the world that I've ever lived. Nothing has been as fast as the internet that I have in Portland, Michigan.
Anybody that has the possibility of using our broadband should really do it, because I've been in business for 40 years myself, and this is a very well-run company that runs almost like a family business where people really care about our members. I believe they will go beyond what is called from them to do the job.
That gives you chills. The project has made our electric system more reliable than ever, provided economic growth opportunities for the co-op that will benefit every member, and delivered life-changing broadband access to our rural service territory. Over 9,000 HomeWorks members and counting are subscribed to HomeWorks Connect, and we continue to hear very positive feedback about the unmatched speeds and reliability. And now, with the completion of our build-out to our membership, we're beginning to embrace the opportunity to expand our network to neighboring non-member areas as well. For example, you might have seen our recent announcement about our exciting partnership with the City of Portland to bring our fiber internet service to city residents and businesses. Partnerships like this one help us to continue our mission to improve the quality of life in our local communities with reliable broadband access, while also providing economic benefits to our co-op and our entire membership. So we're excited to pursue these new opportunities. If you're not a HomeWorks Connect customer yet, and you're looking to upgrade your home internet or phone service, please give our fiber team a call or visit join.homeworksconnect.org. We'd love to connect with you. Moving on, another great service we offer at your co-op is Tri-County Propane. For over 24 years, our crews have done an exceptional job of delivering great value to customers in our area with highly dependable propane at competitive prices, even in the midst of a very volatile fuel market of late. This year, our propane team has worked very hard to integrate a new software that is improving our delivery efficiencies and helping us provide even better service to our customers in the field. In the office, too, our experienced and highly trained propane customer service team continues to work to provide an incredible level of service beyond compare. With great options like 24-hour service, a budget plan, autofill and metered service, and outstanding reliability, I'm very proud of the exceptional service Tri-County Propane continues to deliver each year. So that was a quick look at the past year for your co-op. As you can see, we've been busy, and it's been another productive year of exciting growth, change, and opportunity. Our employees work very hard every day to make you their priority. And throughout the rest of this year and beyond, I can promise you that we will always maintain that commitment to you and providing you with safe, reliable, and affordable utility services that enhance your quality of life.
Thank you, Chris, for providing that great update. We do apologize. It appears our chat function is not working within the Zoom meeting, but please make use of the Q&A function if you'd like to pose a question. Now, Chris is back here live to answer some of your questions before wrapping up with the most exciting part of the night, our prize giveaways. If you have a question that you'd like our CEO to try to address tonight, please type it in using the Q&A button. We received a few questions from attendees prior to tonight's meeting during the registration process. So Chris will answer those now.
Thanks, Angel. The first question we have is one that gets at sort of our power supply discussion that we had earlier. And it reads, are you concerned about whether there will be sufficient energy for members in the heat of summer? And I'm not necessarily concerned that there won't be energy in the heat of summer. What I'm concerned about is, will demand, instantaneous or coincidental demand, outpace supply? And I think that there is a scenario where Michigan, as a importer state, could be in could experience rolling blackouts, frankly. And that is because we are dependent on other states, we are dependent on other markets in order to import energy, and should those markets have a generator that falters, that would put us in even a further deficit than we already are. So I am very concerned, and I voiced that concern in Lansing just yesterday, and we'll continue to speak on your behalf regarding that particular issue. The second question here is, can you provide details about rebates or credits for better insulation, solar, or energy improvements? And also, are there any propane incentives? Currently, we don't offer incentives for insulation or solar. Solar we have various programs, 3 different programs for solar. But we do have energy incentives and energy rebates, and they kind of fall into 6 general areas. One is appliance recycling, then we have efficient home appliances, we have promotion of beneficial electrification, so heating, hot water heating, etc. We have electric vehicle rebates and charging station programs, and then specialized expertise for commercial and industrial. So we have a number of programs. These particular programs are no longer regulated by the Public Service Commission, so we do tweak them from year to year in order to best meet our members' needs and the feedback that we're receiving. So if you have a program that maybe you think would interest us, please feel free to call in and communicate with us directly. We'd love to hear from you on that. Next one here is, do you offer net metering if we install solar? And the answer to that is a simple yes. We offer 3 different programs when considering solar. One is community solar, where the member doesn't need to necessarily make the investment on premise. They can buy a panel through the co-op, and we can add that panel's production as a credit on your monthly bill. Then there is the net metering option, and so we would basically net the the energy delivered versus the energy received. And if we were paying a credit, that would be at wholesale plus, we call it. So it's not quite the retail rate, but basically what we could go out and buy it in the market for. And then our last one would be a buy all, sell all agreement. Those agreements are typically for larger arrays, normally almost utility scale arrays. And so that would be an arrangement where you would buy all of your electric needs from the co-op, and you would sell back all of the solar production back to the co-op, again, using that wholesale plus rate. Next question here. I would like to know about fiber upgrades. So we kind of interpreted this in two different ways, so I'm going to answer it both ways. One, on the package upgrade, so the internet upgrade. You can upgrade your internet package at any time if you feel like it's not sufficient, and we can generally provide you data on whether you're bumping up against that ceiling. And remember, we're a not-for-profit co-op, so I always recommend that if you're going to take our internet service, take it at the lowest package, and if you feel like it's not doing what you need it to do, you can give us a call, we can dig into it and help you make a decision on whether you need to upgrade or not. The next way that could be interpreted is basically our maintenance windows. We do upgrades during a maintenance period at night. Those are for sort of a variety of reasons. One is as we add more subscribers, we have to add more equipment. And in order to not impact members who are using the internet, whether for personal reasons or for business during the day, we do those upgrades at night. And we also upgrade equipment as the technology evolves. We'll be continuing to refresh that system in order to keep it relevant and in order to keep it meeting the bandwidth needs of our membership. So I hope that answers that question. Number 5 here, how come there is no honest evaluation of environmental contamination done to produce so-called clean energy? It's a wonderful question. The unfortunate part of this is I'm not truly qualified to answer that. There are indications that there are environmental impacts from renewable energy, whether it be from the production of solar panels or whether it be from wind turbines out off the coast impacting raptor populations. But generally, those questions are better left for the manufacturers and for the regulators who regulate that space. And so I'm just not qualified to be able to give you a greater insight on that issue. Number 6 here, it seems like the internet bogs down in the evenings. Is there a reason for this? And the answer is the technology that we've built, absolutely not. It should not bog down whatsoever. Unless we have some type of local issue or Wi-Fi issue going on. And so what I would ask in that regard is that if you're having that problem, give us a call. We can look into your connection. We can look into the devices that are attached to the connection, especially if you're using our Wi-Fi, and certainly provide you feedback on sort of some of the problems that we see. And if it's something on our end, it gives us an opportunity to correct a setting possibly. There was a couple questions that were submitted during the program tonight, so I'm going to try and get to those. This one here is, would you explain why energy bills have risen so much? So this one's really a three-parter. One is, locally at your home, if you feel like you're using additional energy and you feel like it's possibly abnormal, I would ask that you give our office a call, and I would give us a call because typically wellheads or appliances, before they malfunction or end of their useful life, tend to use quite a bit of energy, an abnormal amount, and we can help identify that, whether it's over the phone or doing a in-home energy assessment. So I'm certainly happy to do that. On the other two fronts, on the distribution side, we are seeing greater pressures on rates through expenses, labor and materials specifically, and we expect that to continue. So we're making increases and adjustments as needed along the way without trying to go overboard. We're simply tweaking because, again, we're not for profit. We don't need to collect extra. We just need to cover our cost in order to operate the business effectively and provide safe, reliable, and affordable energy. And then the last piece of the energy question is on power supply. And power supply has been extremely volatile. Power supply has been volatile for a while, and it's just now starting to stabilize, especially as we retire coal plants, are more dependent on the natural gas market. Natural gas fluctuations really impact that power supply or PSCR component of our bills. and that comes from our power supplier Wolverine and gets passed on directly to our membership. So we're hoping that natural gas prices stay depressed the way that they're trending now, because that spells lower bills for all of us. Next question here is, why is my fiber line not buried yet? We've been waiting since last December to have this done. And so typically over the winter months, we do put temporary lines, whether they be propane or whether they be broadband, on top of the ground, especially when there's frost. And each year, we have hundreds of these, literally. So we start on them normally in April with the hopes of being done with them by the end of May. So we had about 400 this year. We're working our way through them. If you can provide us your location, and we'll be happy offline to check into that and follow up with you directly on that situation. Looks like there's a couple more here, so we'll go ahead and handle those. Thanks, Sam. How will we be notified of rolling blackouts, and how far in advance? That's a great question. We will attempt to communicate with our membership through our existing media channels. So think our recorded call systems, our email blasts, our Facebook page, those types of systems. The concern here is that in many cases, the rolling blackouts come on so quickly because of a loss of a generator or because of increasing demand because of weather, that in many times we can't give the advance notice that we typically like to give in that situation. So we are working through that. We're even looking at possibly adding a text element to that as a just-in-case notification mechanism to further communicate with members, and so look for that in the future. That's sort of the plan at the moment, and if you need greater detail on that, feel free to call. Happy to talk about it. Next question here is, are we going to work to upgrade fiber service above the 1 gigabit level? And the answer to that is yes. We have a plan that every 5 to 7 years, we're going to upgrade the optics on either side of that fiber line across our system to reach greater levels of bandwidth in order to always keep it relevant for our membership. We believe this asset is going to be viable for 50 years and providing the type of resiliency, reliability, bandwidth capability, and latency that our members will come to expect from the co-op, and that's offering quality services. Next question here is, will Tri-County be deploying electric vehicles? The co-op already uses some electric vehicles. We haven't made the entire switch to electric vehicles because generally availability, we can't order pickups and have them filled, even with gasoline at this point. We've been behind on those, especially with larger trucks. Some of those are out 4 to 5 years. So I don't expect us to have a electric vehicle fleet in the near future, but certainly it's something that we're evaluating on a continual basis. What is the dual fuel option? So dual fuel is what we use to describe a mixed heating and cooling system, which would be a geothermal and then a traditional backup heat source such as propane. And so that's what dual fuel means. It would mean adding geothermal, whether that's an open loop or a closed loop system, and then a backup heat source in case there is some type of issue with the electrical service. You have a heat source such as propane, so that you're not losing heat in the wintertime. Next question here, does Tri-County get involved in mutual aid? And the answer is absolutely. So just this last year, when we were hit with an ice storm, we had a co-op partner in Michigan, MEC, get hit with that same ice storm. And once we were done resolving the outages here locally to the membership, we assisted those folks in their 3-day outage to try and get their members restored as quickly as possible. And I'll be honest with you, in my 22 years working at the co-op, we have also taken mutual aid from many of those folks, and we work together and we're better together, honestly. Next question here is, where can I find info about solar programs? So those are right on our website. If you go to homeworks.org and go to the Member Services tab, all of the information is right there. If you want to do it the old-fashioned way and give us a phone call, Brandon Treeweiler and Nick Simon are going to be your contacts on solar energy, and they are happy to discuss the ins and outs of that with you. With that, thank you so much for those insightful questions. If I didn't get to your question, please know that we've noted it and we will contact you offline and individually to address. To conclude, let me say thank you for all in attendance at your virtual district meeting tonight. Now let's give away some big prizes. Human Resource Assistant Peyton Thompson and Manager of Employee and Member Engagement Angel McCliggett are going to come up now and draw our raffle winners. Good luck.
Thank you, Chris. We have randomly selected our prize winners tonight from the list of those who are in attendance this evening. Let's get started. First up, we have a Shark robot vacuum, and it goes to
Tyler Smith.
And then we have a smart clock with a charging station for Bruce Freshen. And we apologize if we're not pronouncing names correctly.
We have an Arctic 30 can cooler that goes to Joyce George.
And then we have some Samsung earbuds for Sarah Davis.
We have Bose wireless speaker to Nancy Rademacher.
The name brand again. Yeah. The Ring doorbell for Dale Kennischek.
We have a $50 gift card to Platty's Pizzeria in Westphalia to Scott Schmidt.
That's part of where we like to purchase local gift cards to help support local businesses. We also have $50 to Cagino's. I'm like, that's not right, Angel. In Grand Ledge, and that goes to Pam Patrick.
We have a $100 gift card to Meyer to Franca Ferguson.
And one for Richard Pong.
We have a $50 Meyer gift card that goes to Gary Martin and Mary Ann George.
And then we also have a $100 Speedway gas card for Madison Howe.
We have a $50 Speedway gas card to Russell Dyes and David Sands.
And then it looks like there's 4 Homeworks $50 bill credits going to James Briganti, Nancy Eves, Becky Coxis, Kocsis, Pam Pritchford.
And then we have 5 $25 Homeworks bill credits that goes to Debbie Pung, Donald Sissing, Dolores Schregel, Alan Martin, and Michelle Bai.
Good job.
Thank you.
And that's it for our prizes this evening. Thank you so much for attending, and we hope you enjoyed your district meeting. If you want a bill credit this evening, it will be placed on your account in the coming days. If you want a gift card, we will mail it to you. And if you want another prize, we will be calling you to make plans to get it to you. If you got a bingo tonight, make sure to turn in your card by May 29th to be entered for the grand prizes.
Thank you all and have a great night.
Have a great night.